Hi everyone, this is Shanna McElherron from Shanna's Creation Station. I wanted to pop on here and show you some Valentine cards that I'm making for today. So let me just see if we're live on Facebook. I think I am. Let's give it a moment. Okay, very excited for today. I want to show you some more tools that I use and some really cool new paper that I've got. First things first, let me show you the paper. There's a brand new bundle that just went live today, and it's called the All Together bundle, and I have a sheet to show you about it. This is now available to customers. I bought this, about a month ago or so. As a demonstrator, you kind of have a chance to get stuff a little bit earlier. So I didn't get the stamp or the die set yet, but I did get them. There's stamp and blend markers and the paper first. So let me just show you the paper. It's black and white. And again, it's called the All Together set. This is going to be available until May 2nd. And I think they might be putting some parts of this bundle into the new catalog that'll come out in May. So this is so great. Anything black and white, you just can't beat it. So here it is, and it is two-sided. Isn't it great? Oh, you probably couldn't see that very well, but let's see if I can do it again. All black and white, 6x6 designer series paper. And one thing that I always look at again is right here on the description sheet of any designer series paper you get from Stampin' Up, it's going to tell you what colors coordinate. Well, it's black and white for this one, so you know you can pretty much put anything with that. So again, here is the whole set. Let me grab my stamp and blends. Oops, I dropped one. Here are all the stamp and blends, and what I did today was I just played around with how they blend together and all the different colors. Here they all are. They're super fun to play with. So if you get the whole bundle of everything, you would get the stamp set, the die set, this black and white paper, and these natural tones stamp and blends collection. So they all work together to blend to make all of these cool colors. Like you can see in these little examples right here what people have done with them. And this was a neat example because someone colored these rainbows that actually are in the paper set. They just colored the black and white paper. So that's very fun to do too. All right, one day we will work on stamp and blends, I promise. But I've got the Valentines on my list right now. So back we go to the task at hand. All right, so I wanted to show you a couple of cards that I made. And the first one will be using this paper from the All Together Designer Series paper. So we're going to start out with is using my paper trimmer. So if you have never seen the paper trimmer from Stampin' Up, you can kind of see what it's like. And here it is. It's too big to fit in the screen. So I'll kind of move it here, and it has this nice arm that swings out. You couldn't see that at all probably, but it goes out to 17 inches if you need it. I usually keep it like this and slide in there. This has two operational things for you to be aware of. This is your cutting blade, and this is your scoring blade. So that's going to make the fold lines that you need. There's also a ruler going along here, and I do have a friend who puts a little tiny piece of paper behind this so she can see those a little bit better. I haven't done that yet, but I might do that. It's a really good idea. So what I usually do when I'm just starting out to make a card is I would get a piece of cardstock, and for example, here is a piece of cardstock. It's 8.5 by 11, that full part. And what I've already done ahead of time was I cut this in half for this black piece. And put this back. One second here. Okay. And so you know how much that is. I cut it on the long side, which means I cut the 8.5, 11. I cut it on the 11 inch side. So I cut this to 5.5 that way. And then I am ready to make my card. So when I make a standard size card, what I normally do then, unless it's a special folding card, I will score that in half on the 8.5 side, the short side. So half of 8.5 is 4.25. So I line it up here on my ruler with 4.25. Okay, and my scoring blade is down at the other end, and so I'm just going to slide it up and back. And my cutting blade was at the other end, so they're different colors, so that way you don't get that mixed up. So I'll just set this aside for a moment. And now you can kind of see the scoring line right there. So then we'll go ahead and gently fold it, and then we'll bring in our bone folder, and that will burnish this so that it will lay nice. Okay, so there we have our card base, and you can have it this way, or you can put it this way, whichever way you want. And sometimes when you're cutting, you may see a little funky edge to your paper cutting, and that might mean you might need a new blade eventually. I'm getting close. I've been cutting a lot of paper. Now, for a layer of my card, I chose this piece from the new Altogether set, and here is the other side, which is kind of a crazy illusion there. If you stare at that too long, you might get a headache. So what I want to do is I want to cut this about 1/4 inch smaller on each side than my cardstock base. So I'll get out my trimmer again, and if you remember, the one side was 5.5. Let's get it here. And here is the long side is 5.5. The short side is 4.25. So what we're going to do is reduce that by 1/4 inch. So we're going to go 5.25. Okay, and one little tip. If you bring your blade down to the bottom, and then when you cut, you go this way, then in case you don't have your paper lined up, it kind of pushes it a little bit, so it'll be straight up against this little edge. Okay, and always save pieces like this, because you can do a really cool card with just pieces, like making a quilt. So we'll set that aside. So that was our 5.25 inch, and then we're going to do 4 inches for the other side. Okay, and now we've got this nice little scrap piece. All right, so let's see how we did on this. Okay, it looks really good. So now we can see the card base, and it fits real nicely in there. All right, set that aside. I went ahead and did this part ahead of time because I knew I kind of wanted it to be black and white kind of theme. So I took 2 pieces of black and white paper, and I cut them diagonally so that I can have, if I can pick it up, oh my goodness. All right, I can't pick it up. There we go. So I'm going to have a layer that's black and white. And what I'm going to do, all right, I'm going to decide. I think I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to put it like this. All right, so now I already kind of thought of what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and use my adhesive Stamp and Seal to go ahead and put this down on my card. And the rest will be doing some die cutting, things like that. So a little piece of garbage there. I'm just going to roll my Stampin' seal across here, real gentle. There is a bit of a learning curve with this thing, and I dropped mine on the ground, so it keeps picking up gunk here and there, but it just puts a bit of a nice gluey strip around there so you can quickly adhere it to your base. But you have to make sure it's ready to go and not crooked, because you don't have much room to wiggle like you do if you use liquid glue. There we go. It's just much faster than liquid glue, so that's why I'm kind of using it here. All right. And you don't need much pressure. And see, I have a little wonky piece that's sticking because I dropped it. There we are. Okay, so there's that one. Let me just go a little more here. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna put this one right about here because it's the white. It may show up if I don't get it even more. There's that one, and let's see how the black will look. Pretty good. All right. Let's hope I did that right. Okay. All righty. Put this on. I'm going to kind of line up the two edges as best I can. All right, so there we go. There's the base. Now what I want to do is grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm going to cut out some hearts. So I'm going to go grab that. One moment here while I get that machine. It's kind of big. All right. So I'll set this right here, and it's always kind of hard for you to see because it takes up the whole screen. So again, for our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, if you've never used it, this is the bigger size. There's two that Stampin' Up sells. They sell a mini one, and then this is the big one. Comes like this with this nice little handle. Mine's a little bit dusty from use, and it has this nice handle. What happens is you put dies on your plates or an embossing folder, and then it cuts out pieces or makes a textured pattern. And to do that, you use plates. So here is our plate number 1, and on plate number 1 it has all the setup for anything that you want to do. It tells you which ones to use by their numbers if you're using a die cut or an embossing folder. So for my die cut today, I'm going to use number 3, number 2, which has a dog hair on it. Oh dear. And then we're going to use 2 number 3s. And again, you can see all the cut lines on mine, and that is normal. You will see that. All right, so now I'm going to grab my hearts that I'm going to cut out, or my die. So I'm going to be using one of these dies from Bouquet of Love die set. And I have just started doing this. It's really helped me a lot. Whenever I get a set of dies, it's actually in the package the reverse way, where here's my flap, where this printed page is on this side. So what I do is I flip it around, and I put these, are usually on the inside of the sandwich of paper. I put them outward facing so I can see them better, and then I've been writing the name on this side. And then I will always have the Stampin' Up! Number down here and the title on this side. But this has been really helping me just to organize all of my stuff. So, and I've also been writing on my punches, because if you ever have a Stampin' Up! Punch like this, you don't know what its official name is. So I've started writing the number and its official name, and that's been boatloads of help for me. So I am going to use this heart, I think. Let's see, this one. It's got a little bit more of a swing into the bottom, so we're going to use that one. And I am just going to cut out some hearts from the black and white paper. All right, so you can kind of watch me here as it goes. You see I did cut out another one. You put these face down, excuse me, on your paper. And then, this is a little backwards for me, so I'm going to turn it here. I'm not really left-handed, but we'll just do it. And then I'll flip it around for the next one. It feels really weird. But I guess you're supposed to use your brain, and you should use the other hand a lot to keep your brain active. All right, so here's one. I'm just going to set that aside. Okay, now I'm going to get a couple more types of paper. I'm also going to do a red one, so I'll do my red one here while I've got that sheet of paper, and I'm going to turn this around. This feels more comfortable. You can see I did do some cutting earlier today. Okay, sometimes when I get a new die set, I'll just cut out stuff to see what it does. There, that feels better. Oh my goodness. All right, now we should have a red heart. There we go, so I'll set that one aside, and then I'll get out some more black and white paper, and we'll see how we like that. All right, so which one shall I do next? That was a really cute one. I'm going to pick one with a very more towards a white kind of a thing, I think. Here's the paper I was telling you about that someone just colored a rainbow. That's neat. Okay, I think I might use this stripey one. Let's see how we like that one. If ever there's a black and white set, I usually will pick it up because, oops, I bonked you guys. Because it's so fun, because you can color it or you can do whatever you want. It's really shaking the camera there. Hope you don't get dizzy. All right, there's another one. Okay, and here's our black and white one. And then, let's see if I can find, I'll do this little dot one. Or dash one, I should say. Here with me while I run this through and shake up the camera again. Oh gosh, here it goes. All right, got that. Let's see how it is. All right, there we go. And then I am going to do maybe one more with a darker print. Let's see. I will do this one, I think. That'll be cool. Slide that through. There we go. All right. Now, alrighty, sounds good. Okay, before I put my die cut machine away, I am going to cut out a label from this same die set, because I know I want to stamp a sentiment using this label right here. And I'm going to use white, I think. A piece of white scrap paper to run that through. Here's my white paper. You could probably cut about 10 of these and just have them set aside so that you're ready to go with whatever you want to make. All right, here we are. Okay. Now we've got our label ready to go. Okay, put that aside. Sometimes when I'm making this and I have a card in my head and then I start to change my mind on how I want to do it. But ahead of time, I did cut out some other hearts. So I'm gonna move this out of the way right now for a bit, so you have a bit more room. Okay, there we are. Get everything a little bit cleaned up for the next part. So here is our card so far, and kind of, you can see kind of what I'm aiming to do here. I have one extra heart, so I wasn't sure which way I wanted to do it. So I'm gonna just play with these for a moment, and gosh, I'm having a lot of trouble picking up things here. All right, see how closely I want them to go. Okay. That's looking good. All right, so that looks perfect for what I want to do. And then I'm going to put my label right here. And I have cut out a couple of tiny hearts earlier from a different set called Sweethearts. And I just want to put them up here. And I will glue these down. It's going to put 3. Okay, something like that. All right, now for my sentiment, I have a fun set called Right Behind You. And what I was thinking of doing was doing the Better Together set, if that fits. First, I'll see if it fits. And then I can kind of talk to you about how to set up your stamps when you get them. It might be too big. It maybe will just fit. So when you get a set like this, that is the clean type of stamps, you'll get a sheet that has the stickers and then the actual stamp part itself. So what you need to do then is find out what matches the stamp, what words match the stamp, and I see it right here, and there'll be a little crease in the middle where you can just peel off the coating part of it, I guess you'd say, what it's called. All right, and then you'll get your stamp, and it has a little sticker to peel off too. So you go ahead and take that off, and then you just line it up so it looks like what you see there, push it down on there, and then this little piece will now be ready to use with a block. So let's just stamp it and see if it fits in our space. If it doesn't fit, then we'll try a different one, and I can cut out another one. So, all right, put it the right way. There we go. And I'll just use black, I think, for this. Okay. Let's see if it works. If not, I will pick a different one. Ah, that's cute. All right, it just fits, and it's kind of a little wonky. I like it. All right. There we go. Yep, it's your card. You get to do what you want to do. All right, now I had a thought about putting ribbon or something under this sentiment. I'm just going to see if I want to do that or not. Sometimes less is more when you have all that. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go with the simple thing. So now I just have to glue these down or use dimensionals. So I think I'm going to pop that one up with dimensionals for sure. And I kind of would like to do that with my hearts. So let's see here if I can find some. I have some tiny ones too for these little bitty ones up here. Thing is, I'm having trouble picking them up as everything's sticking to me. Let's see if these are going to work or if I need to use I might need to use glue. I think I will use glue on that. All right, so let's see if I can get them off nicely and put back in place. Okay, it's very staticky today. Okay, maybe I'll do 3 so they don't come off. I'm always afraid that if I'm mailing something to someone and the dimensionals will fall off. It would be terrible. Okay, here's the white one. So this was a lot of fun to do. Pretty quick too. At the beginning of the month, I try to look at whose birthday's coming, who do I need to make cards for, get all that done. So for February, I just have 2 birthdays, and then Valentine's Day, I like to send them to as many people as I can. So we'll see how far I get. And then my anniversary is coming up, so I don't usually make cards for my husband. So I'm not sure if I will or not. We don't really do stuff like that together. So we'll see how it goes. I show him all my cards that I make. I make him look at all of them, and he's very supportive about it, so I feel like that's good. Maybe I should give him a card. Okay. That one up a little higher. And one more. Get it? See, I put on new fingernail stuff, so I think that's why I can't pick stuff up. It's really causing me trouble. And one more here. All right. Nice, I like it very much. And now here comes our sentiment, better together. Oops, my dogs are barking, sorry about that. Okay. Oh, Danny. And then I'm going to put that right there. All right, now I'm going to get my glue, and I'm just going to use a little drop of glue to put these 3 little guys on here. I mean, I almost could just leave them off. Maybe instead of using these, I will use some kind of a rhinestone instead. Second thought. I kind of like it more simple. Let me go grab some rhinestones. I don't think my husband might be home right now. Here's my box of rhinestones, so I'm just going to look in here. Hopefully he comes in soon so Danny stops sparking. Let's see, I had some clear ones. Sorry. Always something, I tell you. Either someone's barking or, there's pink ones. Don't want to use pink. This is the fun part though. I like looking through here. Oh, here they are. They're right in the front. Okay. So these are called Iridescent Rhinestones. And they almost have a little pinkishness to it, which I kind of like with our black and white theme. So I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to pick these up. I'm just going to kind of get under there, and they stick to the point. And then I'm going to put it here. And I'll make like 3. Maybe I need to go look and see real quick if something's happening. How cute. And I think I'm going to put some on my sentiment too. Okay. One more. This little guy is very handy. So the Take Your Pick tool can help you take the backings off of dimensionals by just poking it. The other end of this is a little, like a little knife, and I've used that with our embossing paste. And you just kind of turn it, and it shows you what to do to lock it into place. The other end has a little putty end so that you can pick up things, and you can use that with your rhinestones and things as well. And you turn it to make the putty end come out. So it's another cool tool to use. I usually use that pointy end the most. I use it for pretty much everything. Okay, so we've got that done. And also I want to clean off my stamp. So you maybe saw what I've been using to clean my stamps. It's my chamois. And this is just a bit damp. It's like a car chamois almost. And what you do, you can kind of see all this. You can just rinse this out in the sink. But the water, you can just take your stamp and just wipe it off like this. And you can see it's clean so fast. And then I just keep it in an empty stamp case that you can also get for, that's a really cool thing. You can do a lot with these. You can store little die cuts in these. You can put, if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you can put your stamps from those kits in here. There's lots of ideas for those. And I use my chamois in there. So now my stamp is all nice and clean, and I will put it back in here so that I don't lose it. Because one time I actually had this one ice cream set, the stamp set, and I lost the cone of my ice cream. So I had to get another one because I needed the cone. It's very sad. All right, so I'll put that one aside. And now we are done with this card. Real simple card, but I love it. Isn't that cute? So there's card one. All right. Next, we have another black and white card from that kind of same paper deal there, but I wanted to show you how I colored it really quick. And this time we're using a red base. It's real red base, card base. And again, I cut my cardstock 8.5 by 11 sheet in half, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. Once again, and always make sure your cutter is out of the way when you're going to score and don't get them mixed up. I guess if you do, you'll learn very quickly not to do that. Okay, and so I do need to cut another sheet, so I'll leave that here. Here's my first layer is going to be black. Let's fold that and get our bone folder and get that nice and straight. I use this side. Sometimes I use this side. It's kind of whatever I grab to burnish that down. I don't know why they don't call it a burnisher. I think I would like that more. So this will be my first layer. And if you measure this, you can see that the cardstock base measures 4 1/4. And my first layer is measuring 4 by 5 1/4, which is 1/4 inch smaller than the base. That's kind of how I usually do it. Sometimes you can do a bit wider trim, so then you can see more of the card base. That's fine to do too. So now we have this piece of Designer Series paper from that same set that we've been using all together, and I'm going to cut it 1/4 inch smaller than this piece. So let's just remind ourselves again, it was 4, so we're going to go 3 3/4 to cut it. Come on. And I've got my cutting blade down here. Save this piece because you can always use these parts later. And then you can kind of line it up if you want to see. And then measure the length again. So it is 5 1/4. So we're going to do 5 inches this way. Okay, cutting blade. There you go. And then I'll save that piece. All right, I think I'm done with the cutting for this card, so I'm just going to set this aside. Okay. Make sure everything's in its... Ooh, sorry about that. I tell you. And I don't usually edit my videos, so you just have to You have to put up with all my stuff, I guess. Sorry about that. All right, so that's going to look like this. Now, this came black and white. These were not red. I'm going to grab my marker. I'm going to go check on my dog since I don't think I have any questions or anything right now. Hold on 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Danny. What are you doing? No. Okay. Sadly, my dog saw her reflection in the window, and so she was barking at herself. Okay, she might do it again because she still sees it. Anyway, this is called Dark Poppy Parade Stamp and Blend Marker. And these markers have a kind of like an alcohol part inside of them, so you are able to blend colors. They come in a set of 2. Grab one here. And this is the lighter, it's a dark and a light, and then you're able to give things shade. But I'm just going to use the one for coloring my hearts. And you can see that one end is small and one is large. So I'm going to use the small one so that I don't get too crazy out of the lines. But I want it to just be a little bit of red here and there. So I've done a couple. I'm sorry, my dog's barking. Hopefully you still get the gist of what I'm doing. She doesn't usually bark. Kind of have to lean over the camera a little, so I'm not sure I'm gonna do a really good job of this. But even if I come out of the drawing, it's okay too, because it is my card. Make it the way I want, with mistakes and all. It's a handmade card. All right, so we'll just stop there and we'll see how it is. And if you look on the back, you can see that does come through there. I could have used that side too with those, but I like this one a lot with the black and the white. All right, so this is going to go like that. And I'm lining it up here to see if I'm going to put this here, and I want to see if I want to do any ribbon. And I have a nice white ribbon. Glitter organdy ribbon that's really, I use this a lot at Christmas time too. I want to see if I want to use this or leave it. Before I glue down my layers, I better decide that, because I usually tape the back side of my ribbon to a layer just so it's secure. I think I am going to do that. So I'm going to cut off just a bit of that. I just like a little bit of sparkle. Okay. And there are so many beautiful ribbons available too through Stampin' Up. Okay, now I am going to take my layers and use my Stampin' Seal to secure them. Okay. Here comes the barker. Danny, what are you doing? What are you barking at, Danny? Okay. I tend to do most of my cards up and down versus kind of the other way, so I gotta shake it up a little bit. But this one I already cut, so we're gonna go this way too. Now before I put that down, I'm gonna take my ribbon and just going to put it kind of at a diagonal. So I'm going to tape it down with Scotch tape. Not a Stampin' Up! Item, but hey, it works. And the other end. Okay, now since I did that, I'm going to use my glue for that layer. I'm going to use this other end, this bigger end here. Just because sometimes I throw both into the party. Get the glue and the Stamp and Seal. My Stamp and Seal it was working really good, and then I dropped it, so now it's got a bit of a catch. The glue is kind of, I just have to go and clean it a little bit, the edges of it. And also with the glue, I can kind of move it a little bit if it's not quite straight. There we go. That's very cute. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put this heart a little bit sideways with dimensionals. Oh, and I used up this dimensional sheet, so yay. I'll just take my paper snips and I'm gonna cut a few of the border to use up these pieces too, because yay, they're sticky too. They're just not circles. And it almost becomes a competition with yourself to use up your sheets. Gonna make sure you get them all on there. Okay. Put that on there. Oh my goodness. One more maybe here. Okay. All right. Now there was our subscription kit, the Paper Pumpkin set, just arrived last month in January, and it was for Valentine's Day. And there's some really fun things I've seen, alternative ideas for doing projects with that. So I'm going to show you a couple things after I'm done making our cards. Okay, so we've got that all done. Now, going to take our little tiny hearts here. Let's see. Wonder if I will. No, you know, I don't know that I want to put these on there now. I cut these out to add to this, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that. All right, now it's sentiment time, and I die cut this piece out from this Sweethearts die set right here. And it's a nice banner type thing, and I just wanted it to kind of go across here. Not sure where I want to put it. Maybe in the middle. I think in the middle will be good. And so now I get to pick the sentiment for that. And I have a couple of different ideas. This one's a little too long, I think, so I'm not gonna look at that one. This one's a bit too big. This is the Rainbow of Happiness set, and this is a really cute set. I want to see if the You Make Me Happy stamp, that one might be too big. Let's see. Yep, that one's a little too big, but maybe what I'll do is I'll change my label to be a little bit bigger so that I can fit that You Make Me Happy on there. Let's see, are there any other ideas that I have? These are all too big, I think. Yeah, I think I'll just cut out another one real quick. Let me run over to my machine, and I'm just going to die cut a label real fast. And I'm just going to do it over here. So you were going to hear me way over here. Okay. Here we go. All right. So that worked out. Here is my die cut for this. So I'm just going to put it there, and it kind of lines up with the ribbon nicely too, so I like that. And I'll save the banner one for another card. Okay. Alrighty. Now, I could do the Valentine's, Happy Valentine's Day with that. So maybe I'll do that instead. Well, let's see. See, it's all about changing my mind a million times. Let's see. You Make Me Happy. Oh, yeah, it just fits. Let's do it. In this set, the Rainbow of Happiness set, I believe it was sold out as of yesterday, but they have more coming. And I know a couple people who are wanting that, so just stay tuned, because that set will be good for a long time besides just Valentine's Day. So It's great for the whole year. And oh, this is called a Photopolymer Stamp Set, if you didn't know that. And it has a little sticker sheet back here to tell you where every stamp goes. But these are clear, but they do the same sticky thing like the cling set, the same way. They stick onto your block the same way. So in case you were wondering what that was, all right, I'll use this stamp set. Another tip I talked about in an earlier live was if you have a photopolymer stamp set. Let me see if I can find my. Let me see here. Here it is. If you have a photopolymer stamp that's long like this, sometimes they'll bend like this before you put it on your acrylic block. So what you can do is, this is a silicone craft mat. I use it for a lot of gluing things. Just set it on your mat and then put your block on that, and then it picks it up and it usually goes back to its normal space. So there's a fun little hint for you. Or maybe you want it to bend. You can also make it bend any which way you want. I know this black pad is getting a little bit dry. So, oh boy, I was really shaking the camera there, sorry. All right, so now I'm gonna try to get that on there as best I can. Maybe I'll give this card to my husband. Okay. That's cute. I love the font, I guess you'd say, of that Rainbow of Happiness set. It's just so cute. Then I'll clean off my stamp set again with my chamois real fast so I don't forget. Okay. Put that back. Gotta get in that habit. Always put them back so you don't lose them. We don't want to have another ice cream cone situation here. And then it just goes right back where the words tell you to put it. And it's good for next time. Sometimes I'm my own worst enemy with stuff. All right. And so I am just going to pop this up on dimensionals. And this card can be done. Let's see. I'm going to use my smaller ones, I think. Okay. And then I have to think if I want to put any embellishments on this one. And the answer is yes. Always. Always, always. If you ever have a question of if you should or shouldn't put an embellishment of a sparkly kind on it, it's yes. Okay. So this makes me happy. Isn't that nice? It's so cute. And then I happen to have, I thought I did, some, these are called Holiday Rhinestones. And this red is beautiful. So let's see. Wonder if I can make that. Pop that off just a second. It was kind of longer on one side. There. That one let me do it. That's good. All right. So let's see. I kind of want to put one there. Maybe I'll take another one. It's funny how I really had these all these projects thought up, and then I totally change my mind when it comes time to do it. I'll just put this one up here by that little heart. One more. I can get it. I'll put it over here. Okay. Oh, I love it so much. There it is. Another card all done. And yes, I originally was going to use these little paper hearts that I die cut out. I was just going to place them around, but I like the ones I colored. So, but I will save those, and I'm sure that I'll have another project along with, oh gosh, sorry guys. Ooh, along with this banner that I cut out. Always save all your stuff. Okay, so that is done. Card number 2. We've already got 2 done. Is that fantastic? All right, the next card I actually already made this one. I'm just going to show you the parts so that you can see how I did it. So we're kind of keeping you along here. But this is a card that I made using Real Red cardstock here. And the same cut that I have been doing, but I have it going the other direction. So that's kind of a nice thing. And then on this backdrop, this is a pattern pack of paper. I think it's called Plenty of Patterns. It's a host pack of paper. I think there's like 30 sheets in it that if you do a workshop, you're able to use as a host. You're able to use your host bonus points to get this cool pack of paper that's bright colors and black and white on the other side. So that is my second layer. That would go there. Then my third layer, I use a die set that doesn't cut out, but it just makes a pattern on your sheet. And it is called Stitch with Whimsy. So then I went ahead and used that one to make this little border that you can see right there. And after I did that, then I die cut out a couple of little hearts and one big heart out of similar paper that came in this same pack. Then I took a little bit of ribbon. This is the Playful Pets ribbon, and I just made it like a necklace, and I put this down with a glue dot. Now, if you've ever gotten a kit from Stampin' Up, you'll have noticed glue dots that are a little dot covered with a backing, and the backings are really hard to get. So there are also, you are able to buy mini glue dots in this big roll, and the glue dots, if you can see them, they're just sticking right here. So you can actually stick your item, let me see if I can grab a heart here or something, onto the dot. You don't have to peel anything off. So it's much easier. So if I was going to put that little heart right on the top of that, and then I pick it up and the glue dot is right there on that. So it's ready to be put somewhere. So I'm going to put it on my card. And now you've got, he's stuck right on there, just as perfectly as can be. So the glue dots in the roll are so much easier to use. Okay. So that is about it. And then I finished off with a couple of rhinestones, and then I printed out the same label, or I cut out the same label as the previous card and just used the sentiment from our Valentines set, which is the Happy Valentine's Day right here in Sweet Conversations. So that was really cute. Okay, so that is another card done with the basic same things that I did in the previous two cards, pretty much. All right, so that was card number 3. Then I want to do one more card before we're done tonight. And we're going to go with, clean this up a little. We're going to go with a slimline card. Okay, so this one, I've got my paper here, so I can go ahead and cut it and show you what I'm going to do. All right, so my slimline cards, these are the longer cards that would fit in like a business size envelope, or Stampin' Up does sell those really cool ones that aren't just white. So what I need to do then, here are my measurements. I need to cut my cardstock to 7.5 by 8 3/4. So I'm going to use this arm on my paper trimmer, and I better move my ink out of the way here because it's kind of long, because my cutting measurements only go to 6 inches at the top, which you might not be able to see. All right, so I'm just going to get the arm out here, and you can see it swings out like that. And then I can measure, because I need to have 8 3/4. My space is so tiny. So I'll use the long side, and I'll just line it up to 8 3/4 right there. My cutting plate is down at the bottom. So then I just go up cut that off. And remember to save this piece because you can use this for something else. And then I'll turn it, and I'm going to do 7.5. Okay, 7.5 is right here. Push it a little bit. All right, there we go. Now we need to score this where we want to fold it. So we're going to score it at 3 3/4 inches. So I'll find that on my measurement here. I think I'm going to put this, I'm just going to put my arm down here. I can fit it better in my tiny space. And 3 3/4. So that will be right here. Okay, make sure you don't cut it, but use the score blade. It's not a blade, the score tool. All right, set that aside. And now we can kind of fold it. And you can see my card better now, my slimline cards. So I'll just burnish that so that it's gonna stay nice. Okay, so now this card, I have planned that I would like to have a layer of white go on top of this. So let me get my cutter back. I should have left my trimmer here. And what I'm going to do is measure out how long this is once more, just so that I can remember. And I'm going to cut it 1/4 inch shorter than that. All right. So again, it was 8 3/4. So we're going to go to 8.5 to reduce that down. So 8.5. I went the other way this time. It's okay. And then we will see that this measures 3 3/4. That sounds familiar. So we're going to cut this to 3.5 to make the layer. Sometimes measuring math is hard. Okay, and now slide that up. And now we have a nice piece that we could use for sentiments. You can just stamp something on there and then just cut it where it ends. So save that piece too. Okay, now we'll put our trimmer away this time for realsies. And here is how our card is looking. All right, now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get out my, oh, and then that color of cardstock is called Petal Pink. I should have told you that earlier. What I'm going to do now is get out my blending brushes, and I'm going to put a layer of that ink right here in the center of my white. And here's my Stampin' Pad. It's called Petal Pink. And so one quick word about Stampin' Pads. You can kind of see this is where we open it. And when you get a Stampin' Pad, all of your stickers are on the back side that say what color it is. And then you're able to just put that on this end of it. So you pop it open and then you slide it forward just a bit. Now I'm going to use, I have a lot of blending brushes and they all have a different color theme with them. So I try to keep the color families together. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just kind of push on this a bit, and then I'm going to get a pad here to put under this because I have this board that has a bit of texture on it. So if I would do this on there, it would show the texture. And I'm going to grab a scratch piece of paper to cover that up. Oops. All right. I have a bunch of paper, I thought. Oh yes, here we go. Here's a piece. I'm getting a lot of stuff stacked up, so it's a little messy. Here is a piece of scratch paper that I'll put underneath my paper as another protection from the stamp pad. All right, so I'm just gonna see how this is going to look. I'm just blending this onto the center of my cardstock. Okay. A little bit more here. And the color is just going on to the cardstock. It doesn't really matter. If you don't want that darker blob, you can kind of rub off your first bit of color and just keep blending it on. I'm going to be covering this, so I'm not super worried about that. Okay, so my husband just came home, so you're going to hear that noise now. All right, so that's done. And close that up. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to get my die cut machine. Well, I'll quickly stamp on my sentiment real quick before I do that. So I am going to use my Rainbow of Happiness stamp set one more time. And I am going to use... I'm going to use a little something to brighten your day, I think. Here it is. Okay. Then I will I will put that on here, and I think I'll use black ink for that. Stamp that before I get too far. Okay. Now this says a little something to brighten your day, and because it's clear you can read it, so I'm gonna put it on here. Let's hope I don't mess it up, because there, perfect. I just wanted it on my card rather than using a label. Okay, now I'm gonna clean that off real quick. Don't forget. Okay, good old chamois. That away. Try to keep things cleaned up, and then I won't drop stuff as much. Yes, do what I say, not what I do. Okay, so now that is ready to go, and what I'm going to do is get my die cut machine now and show you the last part of my card. Okay. Hi, Danny. Got it. Move a couple things out of the way. Alrighty. So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna grab some paper. So this, oh gee, my goodness, I bet I've hit that about 1,000 times. This paper comes with that stamp set, the conversation stamp set, but it's called Sweet Talk. And if you notice right here, it tells you what colors coordinate with this paper, and you can see Petal Pink is right in there. I want to show you, I'm collecting more and more cardstock now, as I've been with Stampin' Up! For almost a year now, and I have a big stack of some to show you here, so you can just see the colors, and they're all labeled right here as to their names, and it's so much fun just reading all of their names. And if you go to the grocery store, you go somewhere and you see a color, you'll start to call it the names of Stampin' Up! I promise. All right, so what I'm gonna do is cut out some of these hearts, these conversation hearts. Oh, and I hit it again, as you can kind of see in this little sample here. So these come in 12 by 12 sheets. So that doesn't fit in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So what I have done is I cut that big sheet into 4 parts. They're 6 by 6 squares. So that way it's going to go through the machine. All right, so now I'm going to grab the dies that match this paper and the stamp set too, and the hearts match up with the picture. Let me grab it real quick. I can find it. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple of them here. All right. One of them is taller and one of them is kind of shorter. So I'm going to do a couple at once. I'm going to try to get different colors out. And I think I have my bigger one still out. Let's see. All right. Find my bigger heart. There it is. Okay. Let's see. See if this one fits. All right. That one I'll put on the bigger heart. Actually, that's the wrong one. This one looks better. Okay. There we go. All right. So this one came from Sweethearts and Bouquet of Love. All right, now I have them sitting there, and you could use a little tiny piece of like a tape or something to kind of hold it, but I kind of like the white border that happens with it, so I'm not going to be overly worried about that. Slide it just a bit. Now I'll put my sandwich together real quick and slide it through, and I'm sorry I hit the thing again. Okay. Try not to move the camera, but it is just gonna move, I tell you. Okay, now we're gonna take those out, and then we'll use them again to get a couple more hearts out of there. Okay, just gonna set these aside. You can kind of see the little white border. And one more here. Okay, just want to make sure I'm getting a variety of colors on here. I'm going to use this big one to get that orangey colored one. And here is the purple one. And maybe I need this one here, Bermuda Bay colored one. Okay, that looks good, and we'll run that through. Don't bump the camera stand. It's too late. It's moving. All right, so now we'll have about six hearts. Okay. All right. And here is a purple one. I think this will be good. There's that one. And this one. Okay. Now, let me see. Do I want another bigger one? I think I kind of want one more. So I'm going to set aside the tiny ones. And I want maybe this yellow one. Maybe I want two more. I think I want the two bigger ones. And you can always trim up your heart if you, one of these I have a bit more of a white border. I'm not sure. I kind of like it. Okay, there's the yellow. And then I want this other, see how it is? It's cute. Maybe I want this blue Bermuda Bay one real quick. I like that color. It's really kind of, this is a non-traditional Valentine card. Okay, and I think that will be all of my hearts that I need. Okay, now this one came out kind of funny, like it's a little more to the left with the white border, but oh, I like it that way. Okay, so I'll move this out of the way real quick. Okay, now what I'll do is I'm going to use my Stamp and Seal to put this down on the cardstock. Here's all my little extra hearts that I had. Okay, a little more on that one. Alrighty. Put that down. Okay. It's longer, so it's a little trickier. There we go. Got that. Now, here comes our little hearts over our cool blending brush section. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these hearts down on the sheet. And I'm going to use, I think I'll use my bigger dimensionals maybe. I've got a lot of little ones to use up. Maybe I'll just cut some here. Okay. Alrighty. Just gonna use the borders. And I'll just kind of put them sideways here and there. Try to alternate the size and the colors. Okay. That's the pink one. Maybe I'll do the purple one like that. These are cute. It's very cute paper. And you can see the back side of this paper is purple. It's great paper. All right. And okay, this one's green. Alrighty, then I have 4 more here. I actually sent this card just like this one to my daughter already. So I liked it so much I wanted to do it again. Okay, now this one has a little bit more of a white border, so I think I may just trim that back just a bit. Okay, there we go. And I'll leave the top part up because that kind of makes it look 3D. Okay. Put that. So then on the inside you could stamp Happy Valentine's Day, or you could leave it blank. I just left mine blank so that I could write something. And I have 2 more. And this one also I'm going to trim just a bit. And I was always taught that you don't move your scissors, you move your item to make it a good cut. So we'll go with that. And one tiny one. Leave that white. Okay. 2 more pieces. The blending brushes are nice because you can just add just a bit of color to something. Say you have a sentiment cut out and put on a piece of white and it's just a little too white, then you can add a little bit of color to it just to make it interesting. You can also do scenery. It's beautiful. Silhouettes, things like that. Oop, these are kind of the same color. Darn. Well, that's okay. All right. There you are. Now, I probably would have liked a different color there. Maybe I can change this real quick. Let's see if I can. Oh, yes. Hooray. All right. There we go. Nice. Now you can also add sparkle. Let me see. Grab some sparkles. There we go. I'm going to go back with the iridescent rhinestones that I used earlier. Add a little bit of sparkle, which is good. Let's see here. I'll grab one of these. I'm actually just going to put one down here. And then I'm going to put one up here by the sentiment. And boy, I could just load this card up with sparkles. I'm going to put one here. I think I'm going to do two more. Okay. Let's see here. Put one here. Okay, and one more. I have to cut myself off of the sparkles after a bit, or it goes a little crazy. There we are. All right, so there's a nice card, and it's long enough that if you wanted to send money or a check, it won't be folded. It'll look awesome. You also could decorate the inside and also your envelope, so we'll do that another time. Okay, thank you guys so much. Let me grab the cards that we've made today. Here's our slimline card. This one has the cool die cut. It's not a cut, it's just a print with Stitch with Whimsy. Then we have this one, which is my favorite, I think. And this one. All right. And I did make another card a couple nights ago, and this is my St. Patrick's Day card. All done. I think I didn't have it all the way glued together. So there it is. All right. Well, that's it for me for tonight. Have a good night, and I'll catch you later. Bye.